Welcome to Info Corona, the show that separates the news from the noise. Let's take a look at what we have to focus on today. The sudden onslaught of COVID-19 pandemic has forced a lot of things to be abandoned midway. And one of the key areas that has been affected is college education. Young adults whose futures lie suspended mid-air. While schools in urban areas are going online, students receiving mass promotions, there's one group that's left in limbo. Those who've had half-done examinations, students who are preparing for their engineering and medical exams this year. Their lives have been put on hold, and students who are all set to apply for admissions abroad are now left with anxious and uncertain futures. Today we focus on Info Corona on just why the young of India are facing an uncertain future. Let's start with those who are in the middle of the board examinations when the virus enforced a countrywide lockdown.
Anxiety, nerves, last-minute preparations, furtive looks. When students across India appeared for their school certification board examinations in early March 2020, little did anyone imagine that within a month, these students would face exam blues of a different kind. The coronavirus pandemic, currently gripping the world, has pushed the pause button on most things, including education and board exams. The CBSE was in the midst of conducting the class 10th and 12th board examinations across India when the government ordered schools to shut in order to protect children from the virus. This forced multiple education boards, including the Central Board of Secondary Education, to cancel the exams scheduled to be conducted after March 20th. For many children, this sudden interruption meant they were left with just one or two subjects pending. Now, more than a month later, there is still no clarity over when and how these board examinations will be conducted, leaving students anxious and confused.
I am bothered about it because it is not like an extended holiday. It is just that the dread and the whole terror of the exam has been lengthened.
Adding to the anxiety are rumors on social media claiming class 10th board examinations have been cancelled by the CBSE. But the board dismissed these speculations, saying it will conduct the pending examinations as planned. On 1st of April itself, the board had announced that exams on 6 subjects for Northeast Delhi would be rescheduled. These exams had been cancelled because of the riots in the area. In that circular, CBSE had announced that exams will not be held for any other subject for class 10, and that still stands. In addition, the CBSE also clarified that it will conduct exams for 23 subjects for class 12, which they deemed as important.
उनका पेपर भी बचा हुआ है और आगे कब पेपर होगा, कब कॉपी जचेगी, कब रिजल्ट निकलेगा, इससे चिंता तो है कि आगे उनका भविष्य मतलब आगे एडमिशन कहाँ करेंगे, यूनिवर्सिटी में कब एडमिशन होगा, कब आगे की पढ़ाई होगी.
CBSE announced that schools would promote students from class 1 to 8 without any exams, while those in class 9 and 11 will be promoted based on internal assessment. But school students aren't the only ones anxious about their uncertain future. Students appearing for their undergraduate examinations are equally troubled.
डिप्टी सीएम है, वो कह रहे हैं कि जून में बच्चों के एग्ज़ाम करा लिए जाएं, लेकिन वहीं यूजीसी जो कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की एजेंसी है वो कह रही है कि सितंबर से नया सेशन चालू करना है. तो सर हम लोगों को ये नहीं पता चल पा रहा है कि हम लोगों को अभी मतलब पढ़ाई करनी है कि नहीं करनी, क्योंकि हम लोग पहले से पढ़ रहे थे, सब तैयारी कर रहे थे, लेकिन अभी एकदम से अनसर्टेनिटी सी आ गई.
It's not just the students. The board examinations have been deferred, remember, for class 12 exams, which means that the COVID-19 crisis threatens to disrupt the entire academic calendar, delay competitive and entrance examinations as well. This has led to an environment of uncertainty among anxious students. What about NEET? and IIT JEE. Take a look.
It's that time of the year when thousands of students across the country are usually busy taking the competitive examinations. But not this year. The COVID-19 crisis has meant a postponement of many competitive exams and a time of uncertainty for students across the board.
What bothers me is that there was one exam left and that has been postponed indefinitely. So the fact that I will graduate from class 12 has been postponed indefinitely. So I make up my time by studying for the JEE, which has also been postponed indefinitely.
Most students start preparing for competitive exams years in advance. Some even take a break after passing out so that they can prepare well. But under the current circumstances, with uncertainty about the new schedule for competitive examinations, the students are now stuck.
As for after the board exams, I knew that I only have 1 month to prepare, and I had it on 3rd May. But now, since I don't know when and how the exam would happen, I don't know how much time I have and how much I should, be focused, because I get a little demotivated by it.
इस साल मैंने अपने 12वीं के एग्ज़ाम्स दिए हैं। एक एग्ज़ाम हमारा कंप्यूटर का रह गया था। कुछ डेट अभी फिक्स भी नहीं आई है, कब एग्ज़ाम है ये भी नहीं पता। सीबीएसई के रिज़ल्ट कब तक डिक्लेयर होंगे, और हम लोग के कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्ज़ाम्स भी है, जेई एनडीए, उसके प्रिपरेशन, उसका रिवीजन स्केड्यूल किस बेस पे रखें कुछ नहीं पता। ये भी नहीं पता कि पेपर होंगे भी नहीं। उसके बाद कॉलेजेस का एडमिशन कब से स्टार्ट है, उसका भी कुछ फाइनल नहीं हो पा रहा, ना ही कोई फोकस कर पा रहा है।
A number of students are still stuck at coaching hubs such as Kota in Rajasthan, which prepare students for both the medical and the engineering entrance exams.
सर अभी माइंड में प्रेशर है कि घर जाएं या यहाँ पर पढ़े, और कोटा में जिस तरह प्रतिदिन सर केसेस बढ़ते जा रही हैं सर, तो मेस का खाना को लेकर और कंटामिनेटेड कितना रहता है और कहाँ जाएं किधर, और हेल्प किधर से। एलएन वाले ने ऑनलाइन क्लासेस करवाई है, लेकिन सर नेट का प्रॉब्लम वजह से भी थोड़ा होता है, तो थोड़ी दिक्कतें आ रही हैं सर।
Others who have managed to return home from their coaching hubs are stuck without any study material. But it's the same thing that all of them want: clarity on the exam date.
नॉर्मली सीबीएसई के 10th और 12th बोर्ड एग्जाम्स के बाद जेडब्ल्यू और नेट के एग्जाम होते हैं, और बाकी कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स होते हैं। इवन यूनिवर्सिटीज, कॉलेजेस, बाकी सब भी हमारे बोर्ड एग्जाम के बाद ही ये काम करते हैं। तो हम उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि 3rd के बाद लॉकडाउन ओपन होगा। गवर्नमेंट अगर इस सिचुएशन होगा, गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर भी डिपेंड करेगा कि सिचुएशन कैसी है, कोविड कंट्रोल कितना चल रहा है, हम वापस कितना रिवाइव कर रहे हैं। और अगर गवर्नमेंट को लगता है कि नहीं इस समय चीजें की जा सकती है, तो हम 10 से 12 दिन में परीक्षाएं पूरी कर लेंगे।
JEE Main, which is held as engineering entrance as well as a screening test for JEE Advanced IIT entrance, was scheduled for April. While the NEET, which is held for admissions to undergraduate courses in medical and allied subjects, was planned for May 1st week. According to the National Testing Agency, the nodal agency working under the Ministry of Human Resource Development, both these examinations will now possibly be held in June. UPSC had said in a notification in March that the National Defence Academy and the Naval Academy examination scheduled to be held in April stands postponed. New dates regarding the NDA examination is still awaited.
Let's then go across to my special guest who's joining me, Professor C. Rajkumar, Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal Global University, one of the fastest growing universities in the country, private university. Dr. Rajkumar, thanks very much for joining us on the show. Give us a sense of what the corona pandemic and the lockdown has meant for universities like you all. Is the academic career calendar completely disrupted as a result?
Good evening to you. Yes, well, obviously this is a very unique situation that all of us are facing, not just in India, but around the world. When the first lockdown was announced, we were, of course, not sure about how long it will be. And so we kind of advanced our own summer break and was hoping that we will be able to really resurrect the semester that was interrupted. But very quickly we realized that that was just not possible. And the possibility of bringing 5,000 plus students into a fully residential campus was simply not only unsafe, but even will be in violation of the rules and regulations of the government. So we immediately worked to move the entire teaching delivery mechanism of all the 8 schools and the 5,000 plus students into online education. It was a very new thing that we had to do in a relatively short span of time. And we are nearly 10 days into that new evolution. And overall, we've got a fantastic feedback. And it's a new normal that faculty members are getting used to, sitting in their homes and speaking in front of a computer. Students across the country and some of them around the world, even faculty, some of them are doing.
But what happens to the students who are to get into your college in July and August based on their CBSE marks or appearing for competitive exams in law faculties, or indeed those who are going to appear for IIT or the NEET exam for medicine? What happens to their academic career over the next few months?
Absolutely. I think the first and foremost thing which we need to recognize is the key word is flexibility and innovation. We need to reimagine the entire academic program, including the academic calendar, flexibility in terms of assessment methods, and also the way we are going to have the entrance examinations. So we, for one, have taken a decision that we will invest in taking online examinations across the board. So we have been working with an organization called Pearson VUE who do GMAT examinations, and they are doing what is known as JSAT examinations for admission to most of our schools, including our business school, our public policy, international affairs. As far as our law school is concerned, we've always used the LSAT exam, which is the US-based exam, which is right now a pen and paper exam. We are in advanced negotiations to move that into an online format. So at least from our standpoint, we believe from next week onwards, we will be equipped to take and ensure that all these entrance examinations can be done in an online manner.
But give us the bigger picture for the country in general. Basically, is the country in pause mode, in hold till September? Do you believe that till September at least, terms which were otherwise going to start in July will now have to be pushed to September, given the fact that examination papers have not still been evaluated?
Well, Rajdeep, so I believe the government is taking action. Today, they have announced that evaluation for papers across states should happen as far as the 12th standard is concerned. We have also, the UGC has set up 2 committees, and both of which have submitted reports, one focusing on online education, second focusing on the new academic calendar and the forthcoming academic calendar, including examinations. Both of these reports were submitted only a few days ago. Next week, I believe the UGC will take a decision. My own guess is that we will see extraordinary flexibility offered at multiple levels. One, the academic calendar will be revisited and we might see a delayed entry. Second, entrance into many courses will have a multi-pronged framework which might include your 12th standard performance, but also entrance examinations, which might not have hitherto taken into account. The third, I also believe that the online classes that have begun in many institutions will actually continue into the next semester, because you and I know that the end game in this is a medicine for cure, vaccination, a vaccine, and then vaccination, none of which is sight in the near future. So we need to look at flexibility at online level in multiple scenarios, including take-home examinations, entrance examinations online, and also classes online.
A final word then for the students, for those who are anxiously awaiting their future. What's your message to students today?
I think, listen, this is an extraordinary moment for the world. I appreciate the anxiety that the students are having. And I also think that this is a moment when all of us are trying to do our best. I can only say that we will successfully overcome the situation. This is a moment for all of us to invest in higher education and the ability of institutions to provide good qualifications and in opportunities for them to advance their own learning experience. Numerous platforms are available for pursuing that learning experience. They need to be flexible, adaptable, and a little more recognizing that they are still privileged. At the end of the day, we know that even those who are anxious to get into colleges and universities are still privileged, because a lot of young people in our country and others who are suffering from significant levels of poverty and inequalities may not even get into the stage of aspiring to get into a university. So these inconveniences and anxiety are far outweigh the significant, let's say, suffering that a large part of our country is facing today. So that's the message I have for young people. Hang in there, recognize the problem that we have, and be flexible, be more understanding, and in many ways, be more grateful.
Very quickly, I just have 30 seconds. Will the shape of the classroom change? Will When will the shape of the campuses change given this focus on physical distancing? Do you believe that a protocol will be in place? Will masks be in place on campuses? Will the world completely be different come September?
Well, absolutely. And that's already happening. I think, in fact, I would say American universities are gearing up for a situation where the fall semester may not happen. Many universities have said that it will go entirely online. Indian situation, both in terms of cases and deaths, are much lesser. But if we were to start a physical semester in any of our campuses, we really need to prepare ourselves in a totally different manner, both in terms of physical infrastructure available to ensure safety and well-being, but also a fair amount of engagement through online.
Okay, so that really interestingly is the face in a way of higher education. Dr. Rajkumar of Jindal University, appreciate your joining us and giving us a glimpse into the future. Let's take a short break now. When we return, we'll tell you about students who want to pursue studies abroad. What will governments across the world, what are governments across the world doing to help these students? To this Info Corona special where we are focusing on higher education. Now, according to UNESCO, 73.8% of the world's student population stands to be affected by school closures. 1.29 billion learners find themselves out of school. 186 countries globally have been impacted by school closures. Amid students who have been most affected due to the coronavirus lockdown are those who wanted to study abroad. Take a look.
The disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic has thrown a spanner in the admissions process of universities across the world, dashing the hopes of many students from India who plan to apply to these foreign universities. According to data from the Ministry of Human Resource Development, more than 6,20,000 Indian students went abroad in 2018-2019. Although many Indian students who were studying in these universities abroad are now back home and continuing their education through online classes, those who were all set to apply for the 2020-21 batch are now stuck in limbo.
I still have my computer science exam left because of the novel coronavirus and the lockdown imposed to prevent it from spreading. Speaking on behalf of all my peers, we are really left in a difficult position because of our board exams. They aren't over, and because of that, the results are not being evaluated. As for the exams like the SATs and the APs that are crucial for international admissions are either being cancelled or held online. So all the people who were thinking of taking a gap year or the ones who are currently in 12th and looking forward to applying are left with nothing.
Even internationally, admissions into the next academic year would be challenging for foreign students applying to universities abroad. The large market-oriented university systems in the US, UK, Australia and Canada recently raised their tuition fees and borrowed heavily to invest in attracting more international students. Currently, more than 5 million international students crisscross the globe to attain a better education. These students also typically pay higher fees than their domestic counterparts. Universities UK, the body that represents British higher education, has warned of a potential drop in income of £7 billion in the coming academic year. Universities Australia estimates its members will lose up to 4.6 billion Australian dollars in revenues this year. Australia also claims 21,000 jobs in the education sector are at risk in the next 6 months. Universities like Stanford and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have closed their admissions offices indefinitely, though they continue to process applications which have already been submitted. Yale University officials say all new admissions-related decisions will be announced by July. For now, most universities across the world are quiet about taking international students. Standardized tests like SAT, ACT, GMAT and TOEFL have either been cancelled or postponed at many international locations, creating further confusion over how students would be evaluated. Like everything else to do with the pandemic, there is a huge sense of uncertainty prevailing in the education sector. As for those students who thought that they were on the cusp of passing out, the future course of action currently seems to be shrouded in indecision as well.
Now, while universities and students are being forced into action to reconfigure how they teach and learn and stay financially viable, what are governments doing? Let's take a look at how governments in India and around the world are trying to help students.
To curb the pandemic, one of the first steps that governments across the world took was to shut down educational institutes. First, the schools for younger children, and then progressively all such institutions. In India too, the central government ordered, shut all educational institutes till the lockdown is lifted. The advice since then has been to organize online classes as much as possible. The HRD ministry also asked schools to reconsider fee hikes for the new sessions. Not just India, but most countries across the world are struggling to figure out methods to open schools and universities. In the UK, all schools are shut, but staggered timetables and reduced class sizes are what their education departments are mulling over. However, there's uncertainty on when this would happen if it actually did. In the USA, governors of most of the states have recommended or ordered closure of schools for the rest of the academic year. But the US president has his own thought process. He has gone on record to say that he expects to see most schools open before the end of the school year. In Germany, where cases have started edging back up, most primary schools are expected to open on 4th of May. A special hygiene plan is set to be in place when the schools reopen. Divided classes, staggered breaks, greater distance between desks are all part of the plan. The French president has announced a progressive opening of educational institutes in the country from 11th of May. Macron's coronavirus task force is coming out with precautionary measures to be followed in these institutions. In Italy, businesses are to start functioning again from 4th of May, but schools will remain closed until September. Taiwan has had its schools reopened since late February, after a short extension of the Chinese New Year holidays. In the impacted regions of China, a variety of changes have been made to school routines. Customized school transport and designated routes to classrooms. In some regions, students have to pass through thermal imaging cameras and have their temperature checked on their way in.
That's all we have for this edition of Info Corona. It's time for a short break. On the other side, Rahul Kanwar with News Track. Keep watching India Today.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.